The Sierra Nevada mountains span roughly 1.3 million acres, an incredibly vast area. In this expanse, a family of 3, along with their dog, embarked on a hike. Tragically, 2 days later, their lifeless bodies were discovered in the notorious Devil's Gulch area on the Savage Lundy Trail, which is now permanently closed to the public. In what seemed like a safe environment, devoid of other humans or animals, what could have happened to this family? No one knew. Their bodies showed no physical wounds, visible injuries, forced trauma, or signs of weapon use. Autopsies ruled out suicide, lightning strikes, toxic gas exposure, cyanide, alcohol, and drug overdoses. So what exactly happened to them? This remains one of the most intriguing and tragic mysteries in history, with an unsettling conclusion.
We have new details on what killed a family while they were hiking in the Sierra National Forest. Their deaths have been a mystery for 2 months up until now.
My name's Jonathan Gerish, and I'm part of the Mobile Ninjas. We're a small team within Google who are passionate about software testing.
Jonathan Gerish, originally from the United Kingdom, started his career at Google as a software engineer in 2006. He later moved to San Francisco, where he met Ellen Chung, a 31-year-old yoga instructor. They got married in 2019 and welcomed their daughter, Miju, shortly after. In the spring of 2020, due to the pandemic, Jonathan was given the opportunity to work from home full-time. The Gerish family decided to move 160 miles east to Mariposa County, enjoying the peace and quiet away from the city's hustle. On the evening of August 14th, 2021, Jonathan used an app to plan their hike at Heights Cove. Unfortunately, he only entered waypoints and directions, not calculating the exact distance or elevation gain, which would later prove to be a fatal mistake. On August 15th, 2021, Ellen, Jonathan, their 1-year-old daughter Miju, and their dog Oski went for a hike in the Sierra National Forest. This forest, mainly in Fresno County but also spreading into Madera and Mariposa counties, is known for its outdoor activities, stunning views, and natural springs, making it a favorite spot for nature lovers. The Gerish family started early, eager to enjoy a day in the wilderness. They drove down Heights Cove Road and parked their Ford F-150 Raptor near the Heights Cove Trail Gate at 7:45 a.m. The temperature was around 74 to 76 degrees Fahrenheit, and they were at an elevation of about 1,880 feet. As they set off from the trailhead, Jonathan carried Miju in a Kid Comfort backpack, while Ellen had a small hydration pack with 2.5 liters of water to keep them hydrated. Their dog, Oski, happily ran alongside them as they began their hike. Their plan, according to the app, was to hike the Heights Cove Trail first, then follow the South Fork Merced Trail, and finally climb the Savage Lundy Trail, making a total of 10 miles. After hiking 2.2 miles on the Heights Cove Trail, the temperature had risen to around 92 to 99 degrees Fahrenheit. They continued for another 1.9 miles along the South Fork Merced River to the junction with the Savage Lundy Trail. By this time, the temperature had increased to about 99 to 103 degrees Fahrenheit. They then started the steep climb up the Savage Lundy Trail, which faces south-southeast and is constantly exposed to the sun. The temperature here had reached 109 degrees Fahrenheit. Researchers noted that the ground temperatures were likely even higher because there was little shade from trees, as the area had been burned in the 2018 Ferguson fire. The family hiked about 2 miles on the Savage Lundy Trail. The rising temperatures and their location on the trail made the hike very challenging. According to several sources, the family sent a video to their babysitter later that evening, showing Miju starting to walk. 2 days later, when the babysitter arrived at the family's house for her regular shift around 11 a.m., on Monday, August 16th, she found everything in order but no one was home. She called some relatives and friends, hoping to find out where they were. Jonathan and Ellen had not shown up at work that day, so she continued calling and searching throughout the day. After many unsuccessful attempts, she decided to inform the authorities. Knowing that the Gerish family often went hiking, she was very worried that something might have happened to them on the trail. The family was reported missing at 11 p.m. that day, about 12 hours after the babysitter discovered the empty house. When local law enforcement heard about the missing family, a deputy familiar with the area drove down Heights Cove Road. At the end of the road, he found Jonathan's abandoned Ford F-150. He quickly informed his fellow officers and authorities about this important discovery. The Mariposa County Sheriff's deputy initiated a search and rescue operation. At 4 a.m., as dawn broke, search teams arrived and began looking for any signs of human and animal presence on the Heights Cove Trail. By 8:40 a.m., more teams joined the search on the Savage Lundy Trail, and the California Highway Patrol's H-40 helicopter was called in to help. On Tuesday, August 17th, around 9:30 a.m., about a mile and a half down the Savage Lundy Trail, a tragic discovery was made. The lifeless bodies of Jonathan, Miju, and their dog Oski were found. Jonathan was sitting in a hunched position with his daughter and dog by his side. While searching for more clues, another deputy noticed scuff marks going up the hillside. Following the marks, he found a shoe and then discovered Ellen's body in the brush with an empty 2.5-liter water bottle next to her. Because the area was very remote, they had no phone coverage. The body showed no obvious signs of trauma or violence, and there were no indications of a fall. The family was found on the trail, not in a tent. Sheriff's Deputy Christy Mitchell stated, "We are processing the scene right now. There's no clear indication of the cause of death. To ensure the safety of the search teams and keep the scene as undisturbed as possible, investigators requested a helicopter flight. The site was treated as a hazmat scene." The Mariposa County Sheriff's Office was suddenly tasked with solving this strange and tragic mystery. With no physical wounds or visible injuries, they quickly ruled out any forced trauma or use of a weapon as the cause of death. The bodies were airlifted from the area by helicopter and underwent autopsies, but no clues were found due to moderate decomposition. Over the next month, authorities ruled out numerous causes of death. Initially, the case was investigated as a possible hazardous materials situation, prompting Mariposa County to close all hiking trails and public areas along the Merced River until mid-September. The theory of contaminated drinking water was thoroughly investigated, but the small amount of water in their water bladder, as well as all nearby ponds and rivers, were found to be free of toxic algae blooms. As the 2-month investigation continued, authorities ruled out suicide, lightning strikes, exposure to toxic gases, cyanide, and drug or alcohol overdoses as causes of death. Finally, during a press conference on October 21st, 2021, the Mariposa County Sheriff's Office announced their findings.
Thank you all for coming today. Today is going to be our final update on the Garish Chung case. This is a tragic incident, a tragic situation, and has been a very unique case to investigate from the onset. As of Friday, October 15th, we have determined the official cause of death, and our pathologist has completed his report based on the autopsy, our investigation, and a multitude of toxicology results. The cause of death for Jonathan Garish, Ellen Chung, Aurelia Miju Chung Garish has been determined as hyperthermia and probable dehydration due to the environmental exposure. Oski, the dog's cause of death, remains undetermined, and based on the condition of Oski's remains and evidence the investigators recovered on scene, we believe Oski was also possibly suffering from heat-related issues. Oski was an 8-year-old Aussie Akita mix. Heat-related deaths are extremely difficult to investigate, and I want to thank you all for being patient with us.
But how did they determine that exposure to the environment was what caused their deaths? As the investigation progressed, the FBI joined forces with the Mariposa County Sheriff's Office to access Jonathan Garish's phone, discovered in his pocket. After months of forensic analysis, the Sheriff's Office retrieved information from the phone, reconstructing the family's route and timeline using GPS data. This data confirmed that heat was a contributing factor. The Garish family arrived at the trailhead around 7:30 a.m. and began their hike along the Heights Cove Road Trail. They took 3 trail photos between 7:44 a.m. and 9:05 a.m., covering the first 2 miles in about an hour and a half. Temperatures were in the mid-70s and rising slowly. They then turned right onto the South Merced River Trail, taking approximately another hour and a half to cover the next 2 miles. Several photos were taken during this leg of the journey, with their final photo captured at the base of Savage Lundy Trail at 10:29 a.m. As the Garish family continued their hike, the temperature rose steadily, though they likely didn't notice much as they were deep in the river valley, shaded by plenty of trees from the sun. Their journey took a challenging turn when they began the steep ascent up the Savage Lundy Trail. Around 11:59 a.m., they tried to send a desperate text message on Savage Lundy Trail, returning to Heights Cove Trail, no water, overheating with baby. Can you help us? Unfortunately, no one received it due to the area's lack of cell service. Frantically, they attempted to call 911 multiple times at 12:09 p.m., 12:35 p.m., and again at 12:36 p.m. Their last distress calls came from where their bodies were later found. In their final hours on the trail, things took a turn. As they climbed steeply, they were suddenly hit by intense heat, with temperatures soaring into the mid-90s. The hillside, scorched by a previous wildfire, offered no shade for miles. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, they pushed forward, knowing safety was just a few miles away at the trailhead. Miju started showing signs of heat stress, making their situation even more urgent. John tried texting friends for help, but no signal meant the messages didn't get through. Jonathan was the first to struggle. By the time the first 911 calls were made, he had carried 1-year-old Miju for over 5 miles. Exhausted and suffering from heat sickness, his body couldn't go on. Ellen faced a devastating choice: stay and risk death with her family, or attempt a final desperate climb to reach their truck. She decided every second counted and left the trail to climb directly up the hillside. Tragically, the exertion proved too much, and she collapsed from heat exhaustion. Jonathan, Ellen, and Miju succumbed to the intense heat, which soared to 109 degrees that afternoon. Their loyal dog Oski also passed away, staying by their side until the end. Even though we know what caused their deaths, there are still many unanswered questions about why the Garish family disappeared during their hike. Their tragic loss has sparked conversations about the importance of preparation, awareness, and the risks of hiking in severe weather. It has also underscored how crucial it is to have enough water when venturing into remote areas. Despite ongoing investigations by both officials and the family, the details leading to their tragic end remain unclear. While extreme heat and dehydration played a role, the exact sequence of events that led to their disappearance and death remains a mystery. A family member of Jonathan and Ellen shared, "Losing a close relative is incredibly painful. When that loss extends to 4 family members, including a 1-year-old baby, the pain is beyond words." Not knowing why they died and grappling with questions of where, when, and how adds to the anguish, haunting our thoughts day and night. We remember Jonathan, Ellen, Miju, and Oski. May they rest in peace. Thank you for watching this video recounting the tale of the Garish Chung family. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated. See you next time.